Alright, so this video I'm going to quickly go over my extension project for PS9 for CS51. So for my extension project, I decided to look at the grocery store idea. So I created three new methods for all the person classes, which one takes you to the shops, which I just defined as like at this point that I just felt like I needed a point, so I picked 1010, which is in the bottom left corner. So go shop takes you there. At shops checks whether you are there and returns a bool. And return shop um, takes you out of the shop. Um, and so I have this like pre-shop location, which is I maybe should now I think about it should be really cool post-shop or like home. Um, and what it does is it takes you to just a random point, which like that person is defined as soon as this person is initialized, they're gonna have that. So actually, I'm just going to call this home now because I should have done that earlier. Um, and so what it's going to do is this method is when we're at the shops and I want them to go back, they're going to go to what is their sort of home. They're going to teleport back there, and then they're going to carry on to like about their normal update cycle. Um, so and then because for each update we have some update logic. But for the moment, I got it all commented out. I've got all the lab stuff. Um, so let's do this and just see what it looks like. So this is what my model looks like without any of the shop stuff, because my shop should be like right here. So you see that no one's like teleporting to here. Um, People are going around it, but no one's like when I have the shop invitation, you'll start seeing people basically be there the whole time. So this is what my default stuff looks like without any shop stuff. I set the infectious parameter of the infected quite high. I think it's 1. It used to be 0.2, I think, just so you get some more like pronounced sort of wave behavior. Um, so with 95 dead, with all this um, sort of commented out of the shop mechanics, and then I like to do it like in an order. So if you allow just the recovered people to go to the shop when they're at the bottom, um, so this kind of shows you like is it a big deal if people who are immune, so like in like a COVID sort of scenario, that's like if we're letting vaccinated people go, um, does that really affect sort of like the shape of our graph or anything? And it doesn't really, which is not surprising. So you see like this dot here where there are covered people. Um, that's my shop location. So there's basically that dot there constantly. And so the cover people going to shops, the graph is pretty much the same. There's a tiny bit fewer people. I'm not really sure entirely why that is, but yeah, I don't really know why that is. I guess it's not really a big deal. I guess maybe they become susceptible while they're in the shop, and there's not very likely that there's infected people around, but maybe there is. I don't know. But it's not all that important. This just shows that having vaccinated or like recovered people go to the shop is not a big deal and doesn't drive up infectiousness or mortality significantly. But so that's sort of like looking at vaccine stuff. And then if we then allow susceptible people to go to the shop, we would also think that this shouldn't make that big of a difference. Actually, I remember there's a slight quirk with this one because we're going to see, yeah. So if the infected people get in, the way that the code is right now doesn't work. Because if the infected people will get here, I have it so that they don't like we don't want them to stay in the shop location. That should be like if you're there, um, yeah, like because basically now like if one of the infected people walks in and they stay there and then they infect other people, the people are then like in the shop infected, but they never leave. So anyone who goes to the shop is like it just builds up and all the infected people stay there. So this slight modification means that then if an infected person does get to the shop by accident, they should teleport away. Because at the moment where my simulation, I want to see what happens when infected people don't go to the shop. Um, So we see pretty high, 131. Yeah, so some people more do get infected because you get infected people around the shop. Like I guess like just like people you run into on your way to the shop. So the infected people can still go out and walk around and do the normal thing. So you still get higher infections. But what we really see is like the dramatic increase. And so like the difference between this, like when infected people can go to the shop and when they can't. It's kind of my idea of looking at like how important it is to see for people to be tested. So like if in this scenario we're saying like, oh, we have good testing, infected people know that they shouldn't go to the shops, so then we get slightly lower. Whereas now when we have no testing essentially and infected people will just go to the shops whenever, you see this crazy spike because you're getting infected people at the shop, you're getting really high chance of being infected there, um, and you get this brutal spike. The death rate like isn't that much higher, but I think it's because like with our reputation that all these people are basically immune. Like we have almost no susceptible people. Like if this infection could infect more people, it definitely would. But there's just like no one. There's like a couple of very lucky people not to be infected at that point. Um, and yeah, this is with you have a 1 in 100 chance of being teleported to the shop. So like on average, 10 people should go every time. Um, so yeah, that's it. That's what we kind of looked at. Does it matter if vaccinated people go to the shop? No, not really. Does it matter if susceptible people go to the shop? While infected people are still walking around but not in the shop. Like it made things worse, but like not that much worse. But like if we had no testing and no vaccination, so everyone can go to the shop whether you're infected or not, you see like these crazy high spikes, which is kind of reminiscent of the initial big outbreaks of COVID before we started hitting like lockdowns and stuff. So yeah, that was my extension.